Hello everyone, this is second part of lecture on agenda setting model. This is my last screen where I left my last video, and we were talking about some definition, not definition per se, some explanation of agenda setting model, especially the one which was given by the proponents of model Maxwell McCombs and Donald Shaw. Here is my next slide. And here I'm going to talk about the development of agenda setting model, how actually the model was evolved and how scholars came up with the proposition of this model. The model actually came after some limitations of magic bullet theory. I will quickly revise magic bullet theory, magic bullet model for you. We discussed it when we were discussing stimulus response theory, and I told you that there was, magic bullet or hypodermic, they are same thing. They both talk about strong and powerful effects of mass media. I mean, just pay attention to the word magic bullet, and you will see that it says that the content that comes from mass media, it's like bullets that have that are capable of piercing people's ears and people's eyes. And I mean, such is the strength of content, strength of effects that are coming from mass media. Hypodermic needle model, it's again, they are same thing. They say that when you inject a medicine beneath a person's skin using a needle, I mean, such is the power of mass media, content from mass media. I mean, when we see a content on television, or when we read any content in newspaper, it's like messages are injected into our bodies. However, I mean, we should note that especially this magic bullet theory, I mean, scholars who were talking about powerful effects of media, they were talking about these effects in the context of powerful effects of media in World War I, when radio especially was used for propaganda, and also rise of Hitler in Europe. Of course, media, especially radio, played a significant role in that. However, subsequent research studies did not find such, after that, many researchers again tested postulates of magic bullet theory, postulates of magic bullet model, and they were not satisfied with their results. Magic bullet theory says that media has strong effects, media has direct effects. However, in several research studies, especially after World War II and in 50s and 60s, several scholars who were studying effects of communication, they found out that media does not always have direct effects. I mean, there are many ways people are affected and influenced, and their opinions are shaped. There are many other factors, and media may be one of them, but media is not the only factor. So you see, there was this sort of dissatisfaction from the postulates that were proposed under magic bullet model. Then this is the context when when agenda setting model came. Some people actually attribute this model to Walter Lippmann. I do not remember where in my previous lectures I I once discussed Walter Lippmann's name, but I can, just for a quick revision, I can tell you that Walter Lippmann was a famous political scientist. He also wrote with the New York Times for a while, and he's famous for his book Public Opinion, which came out in 1922. Now you see, I mean, this is how model is developing. In 1922, Walter Lippmann, in his book Public Opinion, talked about the idea that mass media has the power of creating images in people's minds, creating images related to ideas, related to events. And of course, policymakers, they are also affected by images that people have in their minds about issues. So this book actually kind of laid the base for agenda setting. Later, this person, Bernard Cohen, in 1963, he was studying foreign policy, and he talked about this idea that media. He actually talked about press. He said that press may not be successful in telling people what to think, but it is stunningly successful in telling its readers what to think about, which means, yes, press is powerful in terms of telling people, okay, these are the issues out there in real world, but they are more powerful in telling people, okay, these things are really, really important to consider. I can give you example of environmental issues in our surroundings. Currently, I think, if we look maybe 5 6 years back, not many newspapers were talking about problems um, related to environmental pollution. But nowadays, I mean, many newspapers, I know, especially Dawn, is writing a lot about the challenges that global warming is posing to the planet. And many analysts are also talking about this idea that hurricanes, floods, and shorter winter, shorter duration of winter, and longer and intense summers are actually a result of global warming. So you see, now if a lot of newspapers start talking about this idea, then people will start taking it serious. This is the level of importance that, of course, media can set for people. Again, this is how media can set this agenda for people, that environmental issue is the most serious one to consider for human existence right now, which means media has the power to set agendas for people. And this is what Bernard Cohen says, that press may not be successful in telling people what to think, but they're stunningly successful in telling people what to think about. All right. And then, of course, came Maxwell Malcolms and Donald Shaw. I don't have their names on the screen here, but I have already discussed them. Here, I want to tell you an interesting thing, that um, uh, the postulates of agenda setting model proposed by Malcolms and Shaw, they are based on empirical research that came from their study of elections in United States. So they were studying people's voting behavior in United States, and for that they did a study based on content analysis, which means they were analyzing content in media. That is how it was, a content analysis. And on the basis of that, they found out that yes, media has the power to set agenda for people. All right. And then this is the crux of the model that I have mentioned. The model essentially says that agenda of media becomes agenda of public. An example that comes in my mind is the example of lawyers movement. If you remember, in maybe 2008, I don't remember the year exactly, there was lawyers movement because of, that actually resulted in the removal of General Pervez Musharraf as president of Pakistan. That was the time when media played a significant, important role, and people, of course, took to the streets, and ultimately that led to the removal of General Musharraf as the president of Pakistan. So yes, it has happened in Pakistan as well. Media sometimes can set agendas for people. All right. This is actually a diagrammatic presentation of agenda setting model, and this picture is quite interesting. I took this picture from the book that I have been using to prepare my lectures and to teach models, Dennis McQuill's book, and the same book I will use to send notes related to agenda setting model. You see, these are issues, X1, X2. I mean, just imagine issue X1, X2, X3, X4, X5. This is the level of importance. I mean, these boxes here, they denote the level of importance that media gives to an issue. You see, all issues are of same size. These are 6 issues from number 1 to number 6. They are of, I mean, they are of same magnitude. This is the level of attention that media gives. I mean, if media repeatedly shows, let's see, if television repeatedly shows any event, of course people will give it more importance. That's why this X is bigger, maybe biggest here. See, X1, X4, and X6 are the issues that were given the most importance. By media, and that is how you see consequent public perception. I mean, of course, the perception of people, the order of importance, I mean, the level of importance that people have assigned to these issues is quite, I mean, bigger as compared to other issues. And we especially see the X5. Media gave very little attention to this, I mean, to this issue, and consequently, the issue, I mean, in people's perception, in people's mindsets, in people's beliefs, the issue is also quite small, not really much important. So this picture actually explains the whole model in a really, I think, comprehensive way. All right, with this, I have ended this lecture, agenda setting. I will continue with some very little details of model in next part of my lecture that I'm going to upload maybe in a couple days. But before I end, I want to tell you that here I have shared this model like a very brief overview. Here I have shared a very brief overview of this model with you, because this is a very important model, especially from mass communications theory point of view. And when you go to the 400 level course, which is mass communication theories course, of course you will read this model in detail and at length. Here I have only tried to familiarize you with this model, because whenever we talk about effects of mass communication, the agenda setting model is a very important model in that discussion. With this, now I am going to end this session, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.